that you were having a good time. Mm-hmm. Baby girl, I know it's all happening in your mind. Mm-hmm. Baby girl, I know that you were always free. Mm-hmm. Baby girl, I know that you just need to breathe. Mm-hmm. Breathe in light love. Breathe in be light love. All right, so today we're talking about Qigong in a chair. Okay, so we have to imagine the swirling vortex of energy that is spiraling down through the crown chakra of our heads and going down through the Sushumna, the same way food goes down the esophagus and the air goes down through the trachea. If you put your hand as far as you can above your head, your right hand, kind of just put it above your head, reach up, reach up. At that point, go down just a little bit and you can feel where this cone or vortex of energy is. It's not exactly 3 feet above your head, or it's right about there. And if you lock in just about here, you can really feel it. Um, this is the energy. We all know the baby has a little soft spot, the fontanelle spot, where the roof of the brain is. And that's where the pineal and the superior colliculi, they kind of sit there. The roof of the midbrain is called the crystal palace. And then we put our tongue, the roof of our mouth, and we electrically connect the heart to it. You see it, and that's what you're doing in terms of the biochemistry, is connecting the heart to the pineal gland. But this idea is spiritually, you're allowing this energy, which is just light, H plus ions, protons, nitrogen ions, neutrinos, electrons. They're coming, passing through you, passing through the center of your being. And metaphorically, you're imagining it as a coherent beam. This is the idea, coherent laser beam down through the pelvic floor, like that. Your spine is this sword of light that's formed upon this dimensional or fifth density beam of light that connects to the core of the planet. And so your essence has been drawn up from the core of the planet, and it's a nested sphere, which is called the Dan Tian or the Tan Tian, and it's seen as gold with higher sense perception. But as you heat it up, it turns a bright red. And so the energy, the free electrons come up from the feet. Okay, in reality, it's electrons and the H plus ion, because water is a dipole molecule and it's all water vapor, right? And water vapor is conductive and it bonds to itself. And so the protons in bond with the electrons, the protons are attracted to the electrons and vice versa. So they make these bonds across, and water becomes this giant 32 or 37 sided macromolecule, which is a dodecahedron with a pentagonal or a five-sided tetrahedron with a base of a square in the center. And this form is the Merkaba form. Um, it's a bit complicated, but the Merkaba form, this dodecahedral form, and the tube torus all fit together. The math is mathing on this. So mathematically, we all know what to imagine: that the counter-rotating tetrahedral fields, the sun tetrahedron going counterclockwise on top for us men, and the earth tetrahedron going counterclockwise on the bottom for men. And we equilibrate their spins to 2134 at nearly a phi ratio. And we achieve contact with the higher self. That's one meditative journey, is the Merkaba-based meditation of Drinvala Melchizedek. But this is the Qigong in a chair, okay? So with Qigong, we're feeling the energy come up from our feet to our seat, okay? It's a feet to the seat situation. And by the seat, I literally mean the perineum, the anus, the pelvic floor. This is known as the root chakra, or the red ray. The red light, infrared, is passing through this zone of the body. If you think of that color, that sort of rainbow, this is the beam that's going through the anus, if you will. The red ray, our seat, is positively charged. And this, if you keep the feet, if you keep your awareness down there in the feet, and the feet are sort of grounded into Mother Earth, um, they will become negatively electrically charged. And then your seat becomes positively charged. Okay. So from there, then you can begin to visualize the Tantien area, which if you go to your navel, you can feel the energy of your navel go down about 3 inches, 2.5 inches, and you'll feel this Tantien region. So that's your core energy. Okay, that's the core energy. From there, the meditation guides you up to your heart center. Okay, so you feel the feet, you feel the seat, you've relaxed your sit bones, you've straightened your spine. You're looking through your left eye because, let's be frank, or be Jim, or be square. um, the right hemisphere is controlling the movements of the sphincter muscle. To relax the sphincter and to engage the pelvic floor, you can't do that. I can't do that with my left hemisphere. Logic is not going to relax my sphincter muscle. It's a muscle memory, it's experiential. The same way we know the right hemisphere is connected to the left ventricle of the heart, which is where this vortex motion is happening. The left side of your being, the right hemisphere, knows much more what's going on with your energetic body, with your actual body. It's meant to be the master, this great mother aspect of our consciousness. So qigong in a chair, you're going to feel all this energy down there with your legs. You're going to feel the earth. It's an earth tetrahedron. You're going to feel the groundedness that we associate with the earth signs, with Capricorn that rules down there by the knees. You see, that's where this sort of tetrahedron actually terminates, down there by the knees. And then you can feel the energy at your ankles as it comes up from the feet. That's the sign of Aquarius. It's an electrical air sign of Aquarius. That's the truth barometer sign. So you know you are connected to the Akashic field of truth around the earth, this 32, which is a dodecahedron, this net that's been cast around the earth by our higher density friends. It's the Christ consciousness grid, which has now been activated as we have passed through our planet, our solar system, what's called the photon belt of fifth density vibrations. And now, so we're there. This planet is waking up. We're waking up. We're learning how to breathe through the pranic tube, which we all knew 13,000 years ago. Those of us who were here are remembering and waking up, and then our job is to teach it to others who were not here 13,000 years ago, or wherever we came from. But it's deep abdominal breathing that coincides with this. You'll find that visceral autonomic system takes over in the left hemisphere. No, the left side, left eye, right hemisphere is a nonverbal activating system. It doesn't require linguistically based commands to relax you. It's the natural rest and digest reflex that you go into in meditation. So meditation definitely needs to be associated with rest and digest. It's what your body begins to do. And the brain will naturally go down to a theta hertz cycle, which is about 4 hertz cycles per second. As I'm continuing to talk and narrate, I'm keeping the alpha brainwave going at a more like 8 or almost 9 hertz cycles, but it's not quite touching the beta brainwave. I'm trying to keep my hemispheres in close communication and in sync. I don't want the discontinuity of the beta brainwave because I'll lose that precious body awareness that I have right now. And so that's this is why, as we awaken, we're understanding the truth that our left eye, our right hemisphere, is meant to be the dominant system. I go back to what Thomas Campbell, the physicist, said on Mayim Bailak's show, Blossom, Bless You Blossom. He said that 80% of his decisions are made with the intuitive operating system and only 20% with logical operating system. And that really the intuitive just tells the logical system, okay, well, let's calculate this. But most decisions aren't made with calculus. So this reductionistic, simplistic, synaptic form of thinking is much slower and less accurate than the intuitive, holistic, quantum entangled connection that goes back to all the magnetite in our brains, in our hearts, and in these 7 spherical nerve plexi, plexuses along the spine. So yeah, qigong in a chair, I lose my awareness, I lose my fire as I let my focus slip off my dantian, and I stop the abdominal breathing. You see, there are 3 fires, or 3 bandhas, or yoga-based locks. The first one is down there by the dantian. It is sort of, you control really the anus. It's like you're going down there and locking the anus in, and and it's a way to yoke that you're stopping the natural clockwise rotation of the lower tetrahedron, and you're going to try to get it to turn anti-clockwise and to lock in phase with the upper uh, tetrahedron, the sun tetrahedron. This is naturally what we all do. It's just most of the time we're not conscious that we're equilibrating and we're getting our spin potentials of our of our upper and lower tetrahedrons to lock in phase, or be it a phi ratio 2134. So that first lock is there with the anus, actually, and that changes the spin of the lower tetrahedron. You're drawing it up and in. Then you sort of pull the navel back to the spinal cord. You try to touch the navel to the spine. You're guiding the energy up. This is that kundalini, that red ray frequency from the root chakra that normally we direct outward in sort of desire of cravings for food and sex and just experience pleasure itself. We hold that energy in. It comes up. We allow it to flow to the heart to get to our heart's desire, right? The reason we came into physical incarnation, not these simple, forgive me, these simple pleasure, these short-term pleasures, but the long-term, the reasons why we came in. And even that isn't the destination. You just want to feel the activation in your heart, that loosening of the heart muscle. The goal is this upper dantian region right here at the third eye, the crystal palace. You want to marry this lower dantian, which is positively charged, with this upper dantian, which is negatively charged. But to do that, you have to remember there's a positively charged center, this first center way up above your head. That's the connection. You're keeping your feet connected to your seat, and you're keeping the head connected, well, to the crown, let's say, this large, you keep the crown on your head. That's this key to qigong in a chair. And from there, if you keep this center open and engaged, you can then begin the microcosmic arc of electrical activation. That's a right eye, left, breathing through the right nostril. Energy comes up the back of your body, and then left nostril out breath, or switch to your left eye as if you're slinging. It comes down the front side of the body. The front side is the cooling, receptive side. Okay, of yin energy, it goes down your left leg, down the left side, outside of the left leg, and then swings over. And yes, it does. It is. You're supposed to give it time to connect and engage, at least mentally, spiritually, with the core of the earth, Gaia, and then then you can greet her, and she does play a part in this eightfold cycle of energy circulating, this circuitry that's completing the circuit, the positive ionic flow, or the positronic ionic flow. The H plus ions begin to come up the inner part of the right leg. This is the macrocosmic orbit through the sort of crotch, perineum. Then that connects back to the microcosmic, and you have the microcosmic up the spine, down the front side. It obviously works better if you breathe, but it's imagination and visualization. What's for sure happening is you're getting cerebral blood flow in a more balanced way to both sides of your brain. If you're like now, I've sort of gone back into a deep abdominal belly breath. You see, I'm holding the breath so I can master the chi. That's the best way of saying it. I'm breathing consciously. I'm not counting to four or whatever, or counting to eight and then doing it. It's aligned with my will and my thoughts. It's aligned with the fullness of my belly. And as I surrender my belly goes back to my spine, but I'm feeling the chi energy in my hands and feet. You see, and that's what you always do in Qigong. You start making the little ball of chi. And so as you notice your hands will naturally, and every time you lose awareness, you bring awareness back to this lower dantian, this little sphere, this little golden sphere. That's why you always see the Asians, you put your hands right here. If you don't know where to put your hands, you put them below your navel. That's the energy. That's your seat of power right there. And if you lose track, you just reconnect that to your feet. You see, that's your groundedness. That's the earth tetrahedron. That's the stable right hemisphere or left eye female aspect of your being, the great mother. And she's meant to be the stability of the earth and the emotion of the water. That's the water and the earth aspect. Then the fire and the wind aspect are up here at the solar tetrahedron. But you cannot allow this aspect to be the boss. It's too whimsical, it's too potentially volatile, like the male energy itself. And it's useful when guided and given direction and focus from the stillness of the waters and the solidity of the earth beneath. You see, that allows it to become this rooted tree, and this rooted tree conducts the electricity and the energy, because that's the real best metaphor. We're becoming this rooted tree, and so then we become this transistor of energy, and this transistor of energy can awaken others. And through the Merkaba field, which can go about as far as 55 feet, you see, we are naturally the kind of 5G and 6G microwave transistors that we've built. We're much better than what we've built. We built technology that is not as amazing as what the technology that's naturally inside of us. And I'll just stop there. We'll stop with Om Shanti Om.